What's up, everybody? Happy Thursday. Hope all you're having a great day so far. I want to shout out to some folks in Canada who are keeping me updated on what's going on GH since they're getting the episode and we in the US are not getting the episode. So I want to thank them. Today was an action-packed episode. All hell is continuing to break loose in New York and in Port Charles. Getting into this episode, where the hell do I begin? It's just a lot of drama going on right now. So let me just get the little stuff out the way before we get into the big stuff. So basically, Jax and Nina are still at Crimson celebrating when Ava interrupts. Her and Nicholas are back in town from France. That was a quick-ass plane ride. That was a fast-ass plane ride. Just yesterday's episode, they was on the jet. Now y'all back in Port Charles at the same time? Okay. That's a fast plane there. So yeah, Ava showed up at Crimson or whatever to talk to Nina. And she was wondering why her and Jax were there celebrating or whatever. And they were talking about Crimson's numbers skyrocketing or whatever. And that's when Jax got the phone call from Jocelyn about the shooting. So Jax didn't tell Nina or Ava what was going on. He just got the hell out of there to get to his daughter. So Nina was wondering why he left so rapidly. But she was wondering why the hell Ava was at her office. And Ava claims that she stopped by the office basically just to check on Nina or whatever. And Nina basically politely told her to leave. Because Nina figured out what Ava wanted. Ava wanted an ally or whatever. She was looking for some friends or whatever. And her and Ava, Nina and Ava basically decided to give each other extended olive branch, basically. They basically felt like, okay, let's just, we're not going to be full-on friends, but let's be, frenemies, basically, is what they agreed on. Which I think is pretty cool. It's pretty dope, especially, given their long history. I mean, hell, Nina did rip a baby out of Ava's vajayjay 6 years ago. So, I mean, if y'all can get past all of that, Ava did sleep with her man over 25 years ago. So, if y'all can get past all of that nonsense, I guess, more power to you. So, they were talking about going out for drinks or whatever. And, of course, that's when Valentine ass showed up. Ava was like, what the hell are you doing here? Ava was looking at him like, bitch, what you doing here? Ain't you supposed to be on death row somewhere, in jail somewhere? He was like, no, bitch, I made bail. That's why I'm out. He wanted Nina to know that he made bail. And, of course, Ava was pissed because she was like, you tried to kill my ass. And he was like, you're sadly mistaken. I didn't try to kill you. You were drunk. So, basically, he kept telling Nina that he wanted to talk to her alone. And Ava was like, hell no, I ain't going nowhere. But she told Nina, call me day or night if you need me or whatever. She said, I got a parapet, the little terrace or whatever. Because now that she's staying at Windermere. So, she left. And they were just talking or whatever. And he was telling Nina, like, he just sitting there flashing his little googly eyes at her about him making bail or whatever, trying to make amends or whatever. Nina was not feeling it. She said, can you please go? So anyway, when he was at the courthouse, Valentine bumped into Jordan or whatever. And he all gloating and happy and shit because he got bail. And Jordan told him, don't get used to it. Because bail does not mean that you're free. And he was like, well, I'm not free technically, but it's a step in the right direction. His gloating ass. So basically, he told Jordan that he was going to look for a new place for him and Charlotte to live or whatever. And that's when Jordan got the phone call about Laura and what happened, about her getting shot. And, of course, Valentine overheard the conversation. He rushed down to the damn hospital to get the dirt to find out what happened. And to make sure that Charlotte was okay and she wasn't nowhere around when, Laura got shot. And, of course, Lulu was letting him know, like, everything's good. Charlotte, the kids weren't, hurt. They were nowhere around or whatever. So Nicholas, of course, was at the hospital to see Elizabeth or whatever. And Epiphany was giving Nicholas straight up attitude. And Nicholas was wondering why Epiphany was giving him attitude. He didn't do anything to her. And Kevin basically told him. He was like, she's giving you attitude because you hurt the people that she cares about. That's why. And Kevin let Nicholas know, like, yeah, everybody's upset with you because they love you. That's why they're angry at you. And eventually, it will pass. Eventually they'll find their way to loving you again, like, being happy for you, and, eventually they'll be wanting to talk to you again, but for right now they have their right to their anger. So, of course, Finn was telling Elizabeth about Hayden and stuff, and how she, the whole attack was on her was staged. And before he could really tell her about Nicholas and stuff, that's when Nicholas wanted to talk to her alone and all that. So Finn was basically telling Nicholas, like, when are you going to tell Elizabeth what you did? And Nicholas claims that he was at the hospital to tell her what he did, but he felt like it wasn't the right time to do so. Because, Finn is pissed because he was like, basically, you took a mother away from her child, for your foolishness. And Finn is pissed about that, rightfully so. If it was me, I would have busted him upside his head. Like, I'm just saying. So, anyway, all hell is just breaking loose all over Port Charles, all over New York. The shootings are continuing. Laura got shot. Jocelyn got on her cell phone to call somebody, I'm guessing 911 or whatever, to get an ambulance and all that type of stuff. And out of nowhere, Dustin shows up. So Dustin shows up, chases the guy away, chases the gunman away. They get 911 near. Chase shows up. They get Laura to the hospital. Chase shows up to, do his usual police spill, ask a bunch of questions. And, he started with Jocelyn or whatever because she was the one who seen the gunman first. And she said that the gun was pointed directly at Michael. He pretty much was the intended target. The gun wasn't pointed at Laura or Sasha or nobody else. It was pointed at Michael, directly at him. So, Chase is just asking Michael a whole bunch of questions and stuff. And Sasha gets upset because she feels like Chase is harassing Michael. And Chase was like, I'm not harassing him. I'm just doing my damn job. You know what I'm saying? And I do agree. I understand where Sasha's coming from. But at the end of the day, if it sounds like harassment, it's not really harassment. He's asking these questions because he needs to know the details. He needs to know what's going on. Y'all were there. He was not. He's doing his damn job. First of all. Second, he's not harassing Michael. He's... Jocelyn basically just told him the gun was pointed directly at Michael. Obviously, that means Michael was the intended target. That's why Chase is asking these questions. Like, does it have something to do with your dad? Like, with Sonny? Well, whatever he got going on? Like, who would be trying to come after y'all? Whoop, whoop, whoop. Like, he's just trying to get this info. So, Jack shows up or whatever, and he asking Michael straight up, who's after your father? And that's when Jocelyn was like, well, the gun was pointed at Michael or whatever. And Michael felt like he was the target, not Sonny. Jax ain't buying that shit. Jax was like, no. Jax ain't buying it. So they sitting there, Chase gets updated about New York and stuff. And he was like, well, because Michael kept trying to call Sonny and Jason, but he wasn't getting no answer. And he told Chase, he was like, well, they're in Brooklyn, New York. And it's unusual for Sonny nor Jason to not answer their phone. So he gets a call. Chase was like, well, it was a shooting in New York or whatever. And it was at a pub, and I guess Sonny was involved or whatever. So he updated Michael about it. Then he tells him that there was another shooting at the damn warehouse, at the coffee warehouse. So he ends up taking Jocelyn to the hospital or whatever to see if she need to get checked out or whatever, but she keep insisting that she's fine. And that's when they bump into Dustin or whatever, and she introduces Jax to Dustin as her English teacher. And she's telling him like, oh, he saved my life, he ran the gunman off or whatever. And Dustin was sitting there telling Nicholas, because Kevin and all them were at the hospital when Epiphany told Elizabeth she needs Finn's help or whatever, because they got a gunshot coming in, and she doesn't want Elizabeth to be a part of it because she has a personal interest in it. It's a conflict of interest. And Elizabeth was like, how? She was like, who was shot? And that's when she said Laura was shot. Kevin and them were like, what? Nicholas and them were shocked. So they wheel Laura in or whatever and, start working on her or whatever. Elizabeth scrubs in. Dustin calls Lulu. He tells Nicholas that he called Lulu. And Nicholas was trying to figure out who the hell Dustin was or whatever. So, basically Kevin wants an update on Laura or whatever. And Finn tells him basically that they need to get the bullet out, but she's, waking up or whatever. She was asking for Kevin. Kevin went by her bedside to basically tell her he loved her. She was asleep. So they wheel her out for surgery. So they're taking Laura in for surgery or whatnot. So anyway, back at the coffee warehouse, bullets are flying everywhere. Tony, one of Sonny's guys, is still shooting. Another one of, I guess, Sonny's goons show up or whatever. He gets shot. The other guys show up and they get a hold of the gunman or whatever, and they decide to take him to a warehouse because one of Sonny's goons got shot. So the gunman, his other goons or whatever, take the gunman to another location before the cops show up so Sonny can interrogate him to find out who he working for. So they punch him or whatever because he don't want to cooperate. So they was like, all right, we're going to leave you for Mr. Corinthos and he going to deal with you or whatever. So Carly tries to help the goon to stop the bleeding or whatever. And, you know, Carly was like, well, I need to go get help or whatever. She was like, I need to run and go get help. The goon was telling her, are you crazy? Like, stay here. You know, she was telling him, like, the shots have stopped, the gunfire stopped or whatever, and they could hear sirens. So that's when one of Sonny's goons tells Carly that the guy that she's helping is not one of Sonny's guys that she thought he was. She thought he was Sonny's guy, but apparently he wasn't. And that's when Jordan shows up asking what the hell happened or whatever. Carly giving her a rundown. And that's when, you know, she tells Jordan, like, this guy apparently isn't one of Sonny's guys. So Jordan's trying to figure out maybe, you know, he worked for the other side and he tried to, you know, but Carly said, like, he was trying to help her. But Jordan was like, well, maybe he worked for the other side and decided to not take on the risk and switch sides to join Sonny's side. Maybe. So, you know, they're trying to stop the bleeding, get the ambulance. Carly telling Jordan, like, basically, you need to get the damn ambulance here ASAP. Because the guy is passing out. So that's when Gladys pops up and Jordan is about to shoot her ass. But she tells Jordan, oh, I'm an innocent bystander. Your ass ain't, you a bystander, witch, but you ain't innocent. I know she not. So she looked down at the guy. So Gladys looks down at the guy and she calls him Randall or Brandon or something. So apparently Gladys knows the guy. She knows the shooter, one of the shooters or whoever he is. So anyway, moving on from that, back in Brooklyn. So Jason is shooting at the guy. Sonny's trying to calm Mike down, keep him down because he keeps screaming, no, 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 I want to go home. So Sonny trying to calm him down and keep him down on the ground while Jason take care of the goon. So the goon ended up grabbing the female waitress and trying to hold her hostage. And Jason told him, let her go, I'll let you live. So the waitress hits the goon. Jason gets a clear shot and shoots the guy. So now the NYPD show up and asking Jason all these questions and stuff. And Jason was like, I ain't saying nothing until my lawyer get here. You know how Jason do. You know how Jason is. He be quiet as a church mouse. He ain't got shit to say unless Diane show up. You know Diane somewhere probably getting her back stretched out by Max or getting a Manny and Petty, Medi Petty. She ain't trying to come up to no New York dealing with this foolishness right about now. Not unless it's a hefty retainer. So anyway. So she asking Jason for his ID or whatever. Do he have a license to carry? She said, yeah. She said she looked up his police file or whatever and said that his record damn near crashed their computer system. So then she asking Sonny all these questions and asking, you know, him for his ID. Sonny gives his ID. So she recognized him, of course, as Sonny Corinthos. And asking him what was he doing in Brooklyn. He told her he was there for his dad. And she was like, well, who trying to kill you? He was like, he don't know. He was like, all I know is somebody stole my truck New Year's Day or whatever, New Year's Eve. And I don't know who did it. So she not believing it. She was like, you know who. So she was like, you can either answer my questions here or I can take you to the station. And then your father going to come to the station with me, along with us. So she tells Sonny that she got contacted, or they contacted the PCPD and found out that there was a shooting at the pier and it involved Michael. Then she said there was another shooting at his coffee warehouse. He was asking if Michael was good or whatever. She was like, yeah, he okay. Because Chase basically asked Michael too. He was like, who's coming after Sonny? Like, he wants to know because he was like, I don't want Sonny, you know, taking this into his own hands because he know how Sonny's going to handle it. And he was like, you know, if Michael want to save lives, it's in his best interest to tell him who did it rather than, you know, talking to Sonny or whatever, let Sonny handle it. So basically the NYPD, the detective was trying to figure out if she wanted the NYPD to handle this or if she wanted the PCPD to be Sonny's problem. So she told Sonny and Jason that basically they could go, that they'll be in touch or whatever. They trying to contact him later or whatever. The clinic that Sonny had to take Mike to were calling him to see if Mike was still coming in, and Sonny told him, no, we got a family emergency. I'm not going to be able to bring Mike in right now. And the clinic basically told Sonny that if they don't bring Mike in today for his scheduled appointment, then he's going to be out of the trial. And Sonny was like, it's whatever, and hung up on him. And Mike was asking if they were going home, and Sonny was basically like, yeah, we're going home. So, Sonny was like, you know what, as much as he loves his dad and he wants to see if this trial worked, he got more pressing business at home. You know what I'm saying? Like, his wife done been in some shit. His son was almost, killed. His stepdaughter, his friend, all type of nonsense was going on. So, he had to divert his attention back to Port Charles. Just a whole lot of craziness was going on. This episode was amazing. I want to thank, again, Canada for keeping me updated on what's going on this episode because of them damn impeachment hearings. So, when they kept me updated, I had to keep y'all updated. So hit the comment section. Let me know what y'all thought about this episode or whatever. And I'll see y'all all later. Have a great day. Peace.